Hello and welcome. My name is Richard. It's a great pleasure of mine to welcome you into this space, and to welcome you to my channel. A channel I have created to provide some footprints on the path for this journey we call life. Footprints that I intend to be a source of inspiration and guidance, leading us on the journey home to the center of our heart and to the center of our sovereign power and truth at this most auspicious time. You join me today on the Equinox in 2026. And it is a most interesting time, to say the least, to be here on planet Earth, here in these physical bodies of ours, in this collective shared humanity. Lots of distractions, lots of tests and initiations. Tests designed to help us reclaim our truth and our power, to set our own frequency and course, to become creators of our reality from our highest, wisest self. And it's a great challenge to do that right now, when the old patterns of the past are coming to the surface, to be met, to be loved and to be healed. Patterns of fear, guilt, shame, the mists of unworthiness. Now, last year I did a teaching series, an 8-part teaching series that gave an overview, a narrative of our time, and an understanding and perspective upon it, as guidance and support for light workers, those who are moving through a process of awakening and ascending into that higher vibrational frequency. And I felt called today to continue speaking to this. I don't have a specific theme or narrative or set program I'm intending to follow, but I'm just opening up the camera in this space to see what emerges and what needs to be spoken to. Because doing this is part of my journey. Becoming more visible, speaking the truth that I feel and have garnered from my own experience, and using these platforms to put that into the public field for whoever resonates with it. Now, I called it a teaching series But it could also be called a student series too. Because we are moving beyond the age of the guru, of the teacher on his pedestal, the one who has gone to the other shore and who speaks from that place, the pure exalted being. And then there are the students who enter into that field and who are lifted up to that state themselves in the Master's presence. And though there is beauty in that image, there is also great shadow. The shadows of inauthenticity and performance that are coming more and more to the fore at this time. And we are discovering that we are both students and teachers. We all have something to teach, and we all have things to learn. And we teach what we learn, and we learn what we teach. And there's a great equality that's emerging as we step into this new dawn, into the age of Aquarius. The hierarchy structure is dissolving and disintegrating. The price of projecting our power onto others is one we are now paying. There's a great cost in doing that. And we are all here to reclaim that back. So just breathe into that. Where have we projected our power externally? Where do we need to call it back? And there's one particular thread I wanted to talk to today. And it's around the process of awakening. In my last series I mentioned that we don't go from a state of being unconscious and asleep to a state of being fully awake overnight, from 0 to 100. There are a few souls that have claimed that has happened to them, and I cannot judge that truth. But for many of us, the vast majority, it is a process. And that process can be quite challenging to navigate skillfully. Because let's take the first part of me that wakes up, that catches the glimpse of the sun, that has clarity. The veils of amnesia are lifted from that part of my psyche, and I see the truth. I see the truth that humanity hasn't been fulfilling its potential here on planet Earth. We haven't been living at that frequency of love, peace, harmony, integrity, gentleness, compassion. And that part of me that wakes up sees clearly now. And its first instinct is to race. It wants to immediately change the world around it to match that frequency. The great sprint begins. And a lot of that goes externally into the world, trying to change this world to be more peaceful, more loving, more kind. And it's kind of a paradox. That we go to war to create peace. That we take war against the parts of us that are asleep and against the world that is asleep. We judge it. We try and fix it, heal it. And it becomes frustrating when we cannot create the world at that frequency. And I spoke to this in my series last time, that we cannot create at that frequency because not all of us is resonating at that frequency. It's not until those parts of me that are asleep, that until they become a match to that resonance of peace and love, that then the world will change. It is a total inside job right now. To raise that frequency, and we'll do that work. But we cannot do that work from a place of war, from a place of violence, from a gung-ho, throw myself in the deep end and force myself to swim. It takes time to cultivate the safety for the part of me that feels it needs to sleep, to be safe, to create a wider net of safety where it can gently open its eyes and to see the truth. And there's just an image that I want to paint today around this theme. So imagine you're going to an airport. The airport is your destination to catch a plane to the new world. There's part of you that is heading to that airport because it sees the aeroplane is waiting on the tarmac. It is ready to take off. And then you go in to the entrance and you go to check in. And the lady at the desk says to you, "Dear sir, I'd happily check you in. But you've got a long line of luggage behind you. And there is a weight limit of what you can take with you onto this plane." Now the long line of luggage is our past. It's our conditioning. It's the things that we built around ourselves to keep ourselves safe. All our patterns, our habits. The shields of protection. The expressions of our guilt and our shame. That is expressed through our addictive patterns and behaviors. So the part of us that is waking up immediately goes to work, starts going through the suitcases, tossing out anything that's heavy and weighty, because it fears that the plane is going to leave if it doesn't hurry, if it doesn't chase, if it doesn't heal. And so imagine this awakening part of me, awakening part of you, manically tossing things out at the check-in desk, tossing suitcases here and there. That is my past, I don't want it anymore, goodbye. But then imagine that there is a child there with you. And the child begins to cry, begins to act up, begins to get upset. Because all the heavy, weighty things in those suitcases are the things it's most attached to. The things that are familiar, safe, known, comfortable. And so you got this screaming child. And the awakening part of us that just ignores that child and just plows on. Because that's its focus. I've got to get through to the departure lounge. I've got to get on that plane. And it kind of misses the point. Because that child needs to be the one that goes on the journey. That child is the one creating the new world. And yeah, you may get down to one suitcase. But if you got a screaming child in tow, you're not going to get on that plane. So we need time. We need time to work at that child's pace and to talk it through the process of letting go. Letting go of its fears, its comforting toys and blankets, and to feel safe again. To feel safe to go onto that plane. And it's time to really put that as a priority. Instead of racing to create this new world. I just want to breathe into that. Into that image. Because much of past reality is dissolving before our eyes right now. It's disintegrating. The so-called matrix is obviously just falling apart at the seams. And we welcome that, and we have longed for that. But we have to honor the process, the grieving process, that collectively we are moving through. And our struggle to step into the unknown. That is the present moment. And as I say, we are all students and we are all teachers of this. We are all leaning into that place. And I don't feel there's many that are on the other side of that. And that's okay. And that is why we are here. We are this melding pot of ascended cosmic beings. And we're also human, carrying the weight of human history upon us. Like I say, that line of luggage is long. There is much in there. From our ancestors, from our parents, from our upbringing. The whole of human history that has been painted through the long, dark ages. It's all there within us. And we are not victims of this. We have to take ownership for what is in me. And not be ashamed of that. Because if I stay in shame, then I will continue to reject, and I will not work the process. We cannot skip a step here. That's the message for today. At this beautiful time of Equinox, may we have the courage to feel all that needs to be felt right now in these very turbulent times. Dissolve our reactions to it Step into a field of neutrality. And once we're in that field of neutrality, that is when we'll be ready to enter the departure gate. Not before. Thank you for your time today and these reflections and ponderings. I hope to continue to do more of these videos over this year. Lean into this space for myself and my journey, and in service to the whole. Blessed be.